All are welcome into Divas of Color. I'm so excited and I'm so happy to be here with you and also to receive you all. The life, everything right in life is motivated by love. But I don't believe that sexual abuse is motivated by love. So, because sexual abuse is an act of violence. And as you see, Divas of Color is a movement. And the movement is about enlightening, educating our people on the way to go ahead their problems and to discover themselves. Because the best thing in life is about you discovering yourself, understanding that you have to maximize all you get in this life. And you can't maximize it if you don't discover yourself, because everything is rooted in oneself, self-belief. Because if you don't believe it, you're not gonna get it. Now, last month, I had brain surgery. So at Denmark here on the 5th of February, I never knew I could come out, or be able to talk to you people, because it was something I couldn't explain. I couldn't come out of bathtub. My wife had to help me out of the bathtub and then call ambulance. But one experience I learned from that incident, because after the operation, then I was wheeled to a place for recovery, as most of you must have known. So during the time of recovery, when I woke up, there was only one thing that came to my mind. It wasn't house, it wasn't car, it wasn't anything except my wife and my children, the loved ones. So the experience I got there is, when you go through difficulties, the only thing that pulls you out is love. What you love is no longer your car, it's no longer your property. I never remembered anything. So the only thing I remember, look, I want to speak to my wife, I want to speak to my children. This is an experience. Not everybody will go through it and come out. Because myself, I thought I would have a stroke. Because it was almost a stroke, but I recovered 100%. And I used this opportunity to thank God. Amen. Now, I will tell you a story. In fact, it's not a story, it's what happened when I was growing up. We used to have a hunter. So that man was one of the fathers of our colleagues. So we normally follow him to the bush to observe how the man hunts. So on one occasion, in fact, not on one occasion, most occasions, the man will see the target and then will aim with all his attention to the target, like this. But when he's about to shoot the target, you know what he does? He moves his eyes. You're hitting a target like this. And then when he has to shoot, he takes away his eyes. So this story illustrates what happened in our life, especially the fundamental thing that is causing sexual abuse. Because most times, parents, especially the man in the house, because the man in the house is the foundation of the family. So the man in the house usually takes away his eyes from the ball. And once you take away your eyes, then what you see will be different. Because most times parents when they send their children to school, what happens? They trust the school, they trust everybody, and then they don't have time to observe and monitor the kind of information that is going around the children or that is going around the people. Because as a man, you need to protect your family. That is the fundamental things. But if you're not protecting them, then it's very, very difficult. So the key problem that causes this sexual abuse is that when a man who is supposed to be a defender first to monitor what is going on in the family. Because remember, whatever somebody hears often is what he produces. So if you allow your children to watch internet all the time without monitoring, without examining what they're doing, then the information, you're no longer in control of the child. So what is in control of the child is the source of information that you've left inside your house. Of course, what controls people is the information, like the TV, like the whatever you get in the internet. These are the things that controls the children or the family. So you need to pay attention. You should not take your eyes off the ball. You should not take your eyes off what your children are doing. Because once you don't pay attention, then you've exposed the child to something that he's not supposed to know. And then when he starts playing it out, they start wondering, oh, where did my child get all this information? Because you fell in taking responsibility. So most of the problem about sexual abuse happen when the parents, especially the male, because when I say male, the male has the absolute duty to protect the family. If he's the one that has a family. So if the male or the man first to pay attention, be in control of things, take responsibility, nothing happens. What happens is you see the child learning anything. Sometimes somebody, maybe your friend visited you because you were not paying attention. Your friend could be grooming your daughter. Your friend could be grooming your son without you knowing. So it is important we pay attention to what happens around us, because people who groom the children and the boys, these are the people we know, people that are around us. Then if they are not the people that we know, the people around us, then it is the information, the access to information, because the information is the most important thing in the world. Because the person whose voice, the voice that controls you is the one you listen to. So that is on the issue of sexual abuse. Now, on the issue of why we came here, I want us to understand one thing. You see, unless you start looking at something in a different way, you will not understand it. You will not relate to it. And if you don't relate to something, you're not going to experience anything. Now, you could come here 20 million times, but if your perception, the way you look at the event, diverse of color, if you are looking at it like, oh, it is Faustina and Emeka, then you are grossly mistaken. You will not go here with knowledge. But unless you look at something in a different angle, you won't relate with it, you won't experience anything. And I'll tell you another story that happened yesterday. On day one, while I was videoing something, a lady came to me. I looked at the lady. I didn't recognize her. Then she told me her name. So Jen, so this. I didn't recognize her. Then she told me the company she heads. It was the time I recognized her. Why? Because I never thought that the woman would come in that shape. This is a chief executive of a company that sponsors us. Last year, everybody was rushing to have a photo shoot with her, a photograph with her. But when I saw her yesterday, I never knew she could be like that. She could be, diminished in that manner, in that shape. So what I'm saying in effect is that until we learn to look at people the way they are, myself, I made a mistake. And I don't want anybody here to make that mistake in future. Because what we do is we look at people based on who we are looking at. But we don't look at people intimately the way we are supposed to look at people. You see, if she had come like somebody, the chief executive, she came like somebody who wasn't the chief executive. I didn't recognize her. So what I'm saying in effect is that until we change the way you look at each and every one of us, you will not experience the person, you will not relate with the person. Because now, look at a baby now. Hello? You see, until you look at this baby like an adult, you will never relate with her. So what happens is that our perception and the way we relate to people are based on material things, based on what we're saying. We don't relate to them as the adult, as who they are supposed to be. So when you relate to somebody, like if I'm relating with this girl now, I relate to her as an adult because one, that is the most perfect way to look at things. If I don't relate with her as an adult, I'll be treating her like a slave. I'll be treating her like a child. And we are not supposed to treat people, in a very disdainful way. We're supposed to treat people the way the people are supposed to be treated. You treat them with humility, with respect. So what I'm saying in fact is that it is very, very important we change the way we look at things. Don't say, oh, this person is very small, he came from a poor family, he's poor, or he's that. Because the woman, I saw her, she was eaten by maybe one sickness or the other. She was so small. The woman that was bigger was so small. So, but if I had looked at her the right way, she wouldn't have gone extra length to explain to herself. So we need to start to change our attitude, the way we look at people. Until we change the way we look at people, we cannot treat them well. Like men, there's a way men look at a woman. So if a man looks at a woman as an equal, I don't think sexual abuse will arise. So until men start looking at women as equal, even though male and female, they have their own role, but you have to respect their role. So begin today to look at your wives, your children, as equals. Because if you don't look at them that way, you mistreat them. You see them as a toy. And it is not supposed to be like that. The man, the female has their need. Then the male also has their need. We need to understand this, because if we don't understand these basic things, then it becomes a problem for you to relate with a woman or for you to relate with a man. We need to understand these things. When we understand these things, then sexual abuse will reduce. Because it is the perception, something in your mind that makes you to treat people as slaves, to treat people in a violent way, or start abusing a lady, or start abusing a girl, because your perception is wrong, is fundamentally wrong. So men should start treating women as equal. Because if you don't treat a woman as equal, you are grossly mistaken. Even though male and female, they are not the same, they have different roles. But you need to understand this very basic thing, these fundamental things. And once you understood them, then the issue of sexual abuse will not rise anymore. Thank you.